Tesla Superchargers in Batavia, and we're going to give it a go, see if we can make it work on the IONIQ 5 after our failures in Malta. Let's try. And welcome back to Plug and Play EV. I'm Steve, and today we are back at the Tesla Superchargers with Magic Docks. You can see how even this is kind of awkward. I'd like to use this one last, but you know, over there I'd ideally park in the adjacent spot on the end, but it's the end spot and it's stalled in, so I can't do that. And here I tried to park in this spot so that it would keep the other one free for a Tesla, but it doesn't work either. So with that coming out, we should be able to reach okay, but we block 1B. Let's give this a go. So Tesla app, non-Tesla charging. We're here in Batavia. This is, see, it says 2A, 2B, 2C, 2D out of service. Those are the ones with the yellow tape over there. Don't know why, but there's 12 stalls, so there's still plenty to play with. We'll charge here. This is 1A. Unlock adapter. You'll hear that clunk. You push up and out. That'll come out. Click in. Undock adapter, plug in. Push handle into dock out to remove. After plugging in, it may take up to 2 minutes to start charging. It was fairly quick last time. It says charging started. Get to this screen. Hear the supercharger powering up in the background. Then usually IONIQ 5 charging lights go dead. And that's the end of the game. But maybe we'll be lucky here. Let's see. It says 41 kilowatts. That's about as long as I've got it to go before. Car is on in this circumstance, so that's one thing people said to test if this doesn't work, to turn it off. Doesn't look like any energy delivered yet, but we can look in the car maybe. Oh, it is going up, okay. There we go. So we're between Rochester and Buffalo. The previous place we tried, where it didn't work, was just south of Saratoga Springs, north of Albany here, in the middle in Malta. That was late at night with the power not flowing. This is the first one we've tried since. There's another one in Verona, across the New York Thruway. And then this one at Batavia has, I mean, it's stores, so you wouldn't necessarily stop at those, but there's a Target right there. There's a Walmart, so it's mostly stores. There's a Five Guys in the distance there. It's stuff you can walk to, retail, restaurants. So that's held this charge pretty well. So I'll move on to one of the others, maybe the end there, just to make sure it's not a fluke. Let's see how this one goes. I think it's going to be awkward. You can also see here, this is one of those sites that has 30-minute general parking, so not likely to get it because everywhere is miles away. There's lots of parking spaces. But again, if people wanted to here, they wouldn't be breaking any rules by icing this spot. But you see, the problem with this one is there's the very end stall. Sometimes you'll have another space here, and that means I could park in this space, imaginary space, and access this supercharger without blocking anybody. But if this one doesn't reach, I have to use this one, and that is blocking somebody. But let's see. That might bend. I really don't want to bend it. It's not great. I'll release it just to see, but I won't leave it that way. This is 3D, so again you've got 4 banks of 3 numbers. All the 1s are available, all the 2s are down, all the 3s are available. So I'll do the same charge here, all the way to the other end, 3D, unlock adapter. You'll hear that click out, push it up, pull it out. Yeah, that's not going to work. Even with me all the way in, I don't want to stretch that to a point where it's not working. So you can see the problem. It will come out, but there's no give in that cable. It's designed for Teslas and it works perfectly for them, but for anything else, if you're trying your best to not block a station, you're going to block one, because I don't want to bend that one. Just get a quick look in there whilst we go. You see the other limitation here for IONIQ 5s. eGMP platform cars like the Kia EV6, V60, Genesis, 500 volts. These are down to 30 degrees Celsius, minus 22 degrees Fahrenheit, which has been a cause of some consternation, but they do go lower than that, I'm told. This is 3C. Here, unlock again, push it up, pull it out. Latch is in fairly comfortable, there's some slack there, so I'm not stressing that cable. I heard it click into place. Again, the card's on, starts up again. Again, that's an anemic rate. Best we're going to get out of this, because of the inverter situation and 400 volts instead of 800, is 100 kilowatts, but the battery's cold. I wasn't really expecting to be able to charge here, to be honest, because I thought this problem would still be in place, but by the looks of it, the supercharger network is now also open to us. Okay, so again, not going to stay here too long. It's expensive compared to a lot of things locally, but stop charging again. Tells you you're stopped, gives you the instructions to unlatch. You've got that action, pretty simple. Button and latch. That's going to go back up into the dock. And easy enough. Glad we can be charging. Again though, we would have blocked this stall. If we could use that, that'd be perfect. This is the kind of game you play, depends on the site. If there's a stall there, you can use that end stall where the IONIQ 5's port is. This would work for a Hyundai Kona electric, and not much else, I guess, for the front. But I had to block this stall in this case. Other end, you could use it, but you'd be blocking the disabled access, van access one, if you park perpendicular to the curb. So I don't know, I mean, pay your money and take your choice, but the main thing is, at least, surprisingly, we can charge, and it worked okay, aside from the power and a few of those stations being out in the middle. So, nice job, nice site. So having succeeded in Batavia, we moved on to hope that we could get more charges at these Magic Dock Supercharger sites. We still had Fredonia in front of us, and then the return journey back to Boston, so plenty of opportunities to test. Unfortunately, things didn't go as well after that. The success in Batavia was the only one that we could make happen. 2 stops in Fredonia on the way there and on the way back, ended up not being able to get a charge. Didn't try all of them because there were other people charging, and I just wanted to kind of hit the ones that were at the ends if possible. Trying to use the least intrusive charger we could, getting away to the ends and the sides, and just starting up with the app. Unfortunately, the same thing happened as we saw on other sessions before Batavia. Trying to go through the app, you would get to the charging screen, and then a consistent error would come through. So that was true of Fredonia twice, and then on the way back, we obviously didn't stop again in Batavia, having got the success there, but we did stop at the casino in
Verona, New York, which was one of the first sites to be spotted with the Magic Dock, and that one also didn't work. So these were stops on a long journey back. We didn't try every single charger, but you know, it was one of these where you could see that the overall problem hadn't been fixed. Still not entirely sure what went right with the Batavia session that then went wrong with the others, but I haven't been able to test it since. So long story short, you still can't rely on the Tesla Supercharger Magic Dock solution as an IONIQ 5 owner, but that's for the moment. There was something caught in an interview with TFL EV. One of the Hyundai representatives, Dean Schlingman, in a conversation about the Hyundai IONIQ 6, actually talked about 400, 800 volt architecture, and in that exchange, there was talk of an update from the Tesla side coming in Q2, which we're now into, but hopefully that will be something fairly soon, one of those teething problems, and then we'll start to see the actual real performance of the Hyundai IONIQ 5 coming up with the IONIQ 6, which will presumably have similar challenges if it's not resolved. But interesting to hear that Hyundai and Tesla were talking to each other, working with each other ahead of that, and kind of bears out that pilot approach where you've got some sites there and people could potentially use the Tesla system in that upstate New York area as a road trip, but realistically they're always going to want to kick the tires, make sure everything's good, and then roll it out more widely if that's what they intend to do. So the main question remaining really is whether Tesla will use this Magic Dock solution once it has all the kinks worked out as the primary way to start expanding sites and satisfying those CCS requirements, or if they're going to wait a little while and move on to the V4 Superchargers, which have the longer cables, higher power, and a bunch of the things that people have complained about at the existing V3 Supercharger Magic Dock sites. You have to assume that a lot of the ones that they'll get funding for will be new builds and designed from the ground up for a bunch of different type of vehicles, including the Cybertruck and obviously charging CCS trucks that are trying to tow. So I would expect V4 to be the primary solution for a lot of these sites going forward, with the Magic Dock kind of integrated in places where they aren't able to go V4 yet, or where they want to do a quick retrofit and start opening up new opportunities to charge. So that's really it, just another test and another step towards hopefully getting all EVs able to charge on the Magic Dock Tesla solution, and then in the future the V4s that will hopefully roll out fairly quickly. So thanks for watching and see you in the next one. Cheers.